You know what I should start doing in my lives, I think? I should start putting some music. You don't think? Background music? Really? I would do it. I would definitely do it. Alright. Perché poi qua non me lo fa vedere? Porco due. Damn, this live thing really sucks. I ain't gonna lie. Alright. There we go. Let me get the live out. Boom. Alright. Let's get straight into it. Just 1 second. I need to do something. My box. Okay. Gonna do a story and start this. Okay. Oof. Now I'm just looking at Bitcoin. So we got order flow. So for now, we've had a lot of shorts opening here at the bottom. We're gonna monitor this New York open, what happens. But pretty much what happened overnight, we put in a low at about 89.3, which is actually one of the levels that I had given in the Discord. Let me switch this to here. Perfect. But it seems like we're coming once again to retest right here, this upwards triangle. And we will see the type of reaction that we have here. I did say that there is the possibility to go and tap this daily level that we have right below here, which could also result into a simple fake out of the triangle. So this is one of the things that I've covered many times. Little fake out, test the level. Once you're back in, you can take that long trade again with the stop loss below the low. But here we have to be a little bit patient and see how Bitcoin moves. 1 second, because I'm having an issue with this live stream. It's not letting me see it, and I can't see the chat. So give me just 1 minute. Live trading here. Okay. All right, I'm back. I can now see the chat. Anyways, so this is one of my favorite setups actually to do. As you can see, little drop during New York. We retested perfectly this triangle. I mean, you can see the perfect respect, to be honest. It's very, very clear. We tested it. Let's see how bad. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, now 5 times. I mean, this is the most important part. Let's see if, for example, so we can keep pushing on the stock market and this can see a nice reversal, or if once again we go down to this daily level, which is starting to line up very well on this anchor VWAP and also this value area low. Also, another interesting thing that I was seeing is that, look at this. So we had this anchor VWAP from this low right here, and we traded it straight through it right here. We lost it, reclaimed it, and then the second and third time that we retest this anchor VWAP, we had a really nice support, and we had a first nice bounce, and then a second time a really nice bounce, which brought us from 87 to 94. Now what I'm seeing is this anchor VWAP from this new low right here, from the most recent low, let's say most recent major low, and I'm kind of seeing the same trend here where we traded through with no respect, right? This was the anchor VWAP, traded through it with no respect. Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. That would have been here. Never mind. So this failed. So this was the pattern I was looking at. and I was expecting for initially a move here. So that's actually where I took the first long trade, and I got stopped out of this one. And then I reopened one down here. But anyways, that's what I was looking at first. Anyways, let me clean this up, and let's review once again the next trades that we have. I'm gonna clean all of this. I'm gonna redo it from the start so that we get a clear perspective. So we can get rid of this. By the way, we are still, I'm gonna show you, we are still in the short trade, which is doing very well at the moment. We were short from 93.9 initially, which was off of, if you remember, was this area that I had given you. I told you this was a scalping area with the potential, obviously, to take this lower. And as you can see, we move up into this anchor view up, which was from this high from 115. So basically the second major high that we had. First one was here, off the all-time high. Second one I was looking at was off of this big pivot. And we ran straight into it. Oh no, sorry, from this high, from the 111. Ran right into it, right here. Also off of this value area high from this bigger range that we've been trading in. And as you can see, on the 1 hour, on the 4 hours, there was no candles that were able to go above these levels, on the 30 minutes as well. So I'm going to explain how I took this trade the first time. First time we hit into the level. I did not short aggressively straight away. I waited for the 5-minute market structure change. Or was it even lower? I think it was here. Let me check. No, it was not this entry. How did I end? No, I think this one I took an aggressive entry off of this rejection here. Yeah, so on the 30-minute, as soon as this 30-minute closed, no, there it is. So why is it not showing on the 5 minutes? There it is, right here. Yeah, this was off of the 5-minute market structure change. So right here is where we broke this structure, broke the low. Here I waited for the retest. Very, very simple retest. First entry was right here on this retest. And then I added more right here off of this simple like SFP. So grab the liquidity once again into the 66618, which has been working very, very well lately. You guys should really like take a look at this because it's been respected like crazy. And from there, very, very nice downfall. Was holding it through. We took, I think, take profit 1 right here. Then we took take profit 2. No, must have been, sorry. Take profit 1 right here. Take profit 2 right about here. And then I had a take profit 3 at, I had a take profit 3 at 91.3, which was right here, which never hit. And from there, we actually had a massive pump. I think it was off of the FOMC, or I don't know how to say it in English, FOMC. We had a very nice pump. Once again, to retest, guess what? This anchor view up, which on the 5 minutes, you can see the perfect respect. No candles closes above. I did say that I was going to close my short trade if we were to reclaim 93.4. So here you should have closed completely the short trade in profits because our entry was up here. We had taken take profit 1 here, take profit 2 here. Here, fully closed. And then I said, look for another short trade if we reject this anchor view up. We had a perfect rejection, as you can see. I re-entered short right here. You can see this here, re-entered short. So that was like my small position that closed, re-entered. You can see that here, SS for the short. So I re-entered, I took some more profit here at 91.3. That was my initial target. Took some more here. And now I'm still letting this run. However, I'm hedging it with another long trade, right? That's where we're long from now. Also, I think at this point you could just put your stop loss here. And then in case we go lower and retap this, you can just, if this gets stopped out, you can just open another trade. I'm also testing a new platform out, BitUnix. I opened what happened to my position? Guys, what the fuck? My position closed. I had a long position right here that I took because I was testing this platform out. Look, right here. No way, it stopped me out before pumping. Okay, well, I forgot that I put such a tight stop loss. Anyways, and then I'll show you another platform as well, which is really good for trading stocks. But anyways, so that's the retest and nice pump for now. Let's see what happens. I also do still have on my bigger account the long open. I've still not closed it right here with 11,000 of profit. And I'm gonna let this run because it's also a hedge against the short. So let's see how this plays out. But anyways, I would love it if we could hold here, to be honest. Let me see the 4 hours. We just need some closes above this point of control. If we get some closes above here, I think we can keep pushing up. Probably at least to 92.3. So that would be nice. And that way we would have secured our short trade that I showed you before. And I actually have another long trade, which is still at a loss by a little bit. Then we have this short trade, which is hedging it. And then I have another account right here where I have a pretty high entry, a 90.7. So this is in a little bit of a loss, but it's not a big deal. And I have the stop loss set under the low, as I have mentioned. Obviously, I don't care about this drawdown. I was just buying slowly from the top and adding. I don't know why there's a sell right there. Yeah, I took a 10% loss because I was going to sleep and I didn't want to be too exposed. So anyways, back to our charts. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I would love for this triangle to be respected, or I would love the fake out. And then if we are to fail, I'll cover it once more. The next long trade is going to be off of this daily. Of course, we're going to wait for a test of the level and a reclaim in order to take this long. And then you have a long that will look, for example, like this. So it's always based on a reaction. Wherever the wick goes, you will have the stop loss. And the target at this point is going to be that 96 to 97,000 that I've mentioned many times. If we are not to hold here, another target that I have, which would still work out on a fake out potentially, but I would not wait for the fake out in that case. I would just take my long here, is off of this area. I've given this a long time ago in the Discord actually, which is off of the value area low, the daily level, and the NPOC. Of course, do keep in mind that we have some lows here. So context is a bit different, but that if we are to hold this low, we would still have a bullish market structure. So something like this for a higher low to then once again continue towards 96. And this actually I would prefer because this would give a much better risk to reward. So let's imagine something like this. And I'm going to cover one of the triggers that we can use, for example, here. So typically what you want to see is for price to hit this level. And one of the triggers that you can use is for, I'll just draw it out for you. You hit the level first, you lose it, you wait for a range, and then you wait for this range to be taken out one more time. You wait for the candle close to be above this previous low right here. And that's where you can have a very, very nice entry with a very low invalidation. For example, if this were to happen, obviously this needs to happen a bit above. So it would need to look something like this, right? Then this, for example, can be our entry trigger. All right, you get the point. This can be the entry trigger right here with the stop loss below, wherever the wick is going to be. And this gives us an amazing return. So that would be one of the entry triggers. If not, another one you could do is a very simple, actually, I'll give you two more. So next one is a very simple hit the level, go back above, have a market structure change, retest the level. On the retest, for example, is what I showed you before of the short. You can look for this Fibonacci level, for example, and here is where you can enter long for then the reversal. I mean, there's also the option of having a very aggressive entry, which I personally wouldn't do. I also keep in mind whenever I give those long trades or short trades, I am never setting limits. So I will never just blindly buy this level. or have like a limit ready to buy. So yeah, just keep that in mind. It's always like reactions. Based off reactions, I take my trades. And then the other level that I wanted to show you was, I think, off of a simple market structure change. Because for example, if you go down here, you don't always get the opportunity, one, for a range and then reversal, or for a increase and retest. So if you want to like not risk that, you can wait always for the level to be hit. So if we keep falling, you wait for the level. And then off of, for example, a 5-minute market structure shift, so right here, that's where you can take your long. Of course, depending on which type of entry you take, you have a higher probability of getting stopped. And you might have to retake your trade. For example, if here you change market structure, excuse me, you change market structure, and then you go once again to take this liquidity, you get stopped out, but then you re-enter off of the liquidity grab, because that might be finally the trigger to go long. So keep that in mind. How is that a market structure shift if the last high is higher than the high before? I think here you were talking about this. It's a very low time frame market structure shift. I think you were referring to this. I was looking at this uptrend. So this very, maybe I'll put on the 1 minute, is easier. You see, I was looking at this. This is very, very low time frame, and it doesn't always work out, and it's considered aggressive. But this was the low I was looking at. So here you had, for example, low, high, low, high, low, high, low right here. Let's say like the last major one, high. Then here you break this low, you put in a lower low and not a higher low right here. And then here, this is your lower high, right? And so this is where I entered. Obviously, if you want to be even more cautious, this is still considered aggressive because I'm basically shorting the retest. But if you want to be more comfortable, then you would have to, for example, you can wait for this, a bigger market structure shift, right? This is the high, this is the low, this is the lower high, and then here, this is the real market structure shift, right? But of course, if you wait for this, your trade would look like this. So I'm taking on more risk, but I'm also getting a better risk to reward. So here you would get like a 1 to 3, whereas I was getting a 1 to 6, for example. Actually, even more, like 1 to 7. So it depends on your style. This was a bit more aggressive because I was looking at the lower time frame. If you go on the 30 minutes, the market structure shift doesn't happen until, I mean, technically, I wouldn't even, hard to say. This was a big fall. Technically here, but you would have gone and stopped out. And then once again, you would have waited for this. You never really had a clear market structure shift. So for these type of entries, I rather look at the 5 minutes. It's easier to find entries. I hope that's clear. Is the bot again longing? No, the bot is not longing. The bot is stopped. I've removed everybody from the bot because it's going to have some updates for the next 2 months. So it shouldn't be opening positions. You put it long and then I've been removed maybe. Yeah, it could be. But yeah, the bot is stopped for the next 2 months. It's going to have an update with better risk management, and also it's going to take longs and shorts. So it will be even better once it releases. But again, it will take about 2 months. Anyways, as I was saying, yeah, I don't know honestly if this is going to hold. This is not looking the best. Let me pull out some order flow. Switch to this. You had a long open. Okay, that's weird. Did you close it? Or is it still open? I mean, I guess you could keep it with the stop loss at 89.3. Okay. But yeah, just be careful. Set a stop loss. Yeah, it will be on Bybit. Anyways, here there's just a lot of longs getting stopped. 11 million longs getting stopped. So I mean, could be. It's not what you want to see. We do have the short stock here, right? We have 2 million, 4 million, 8 million short stock. I mean, they're not stuck yet because they've just been opened here, so they're break even. But that's pretty good to see. Okay, you close them manually. That's good. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Kind of a shit market open, not gonna lie. I was expecting some more volatility. Let's go see market, stock market. I mean, stock market is not doing anything either way. Let's see. Stock market is holding up this value area high very well. And as I was saying, until we hold this, I would still expect this to go above 7,000. So the important thing is that we don't lose below here, because then we can test first this anchor VWAP. We have to see if, for example, we just go and take this liquidity and reverse here, or next target is going to be this point of control. And then if we lose this, that's where you can expect a bigger drop on the stocks. So 2% on the index. Also, I think I'm gonna start trading stock. There's the big drop on Bitcoin. We might take stop loss on this. 16 million shorts opening apparently. Let me check. Okay, I think I'm just gonna re-enter. I'm gonna wait for the stop loss to be hit, but I could even make it a bit wider, to be honest. Yeah, I really think we're gonna hit that daily level and perhaps reverse there. So let me see. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna close half. Actually, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough because I do think we're gonna take this liquidity at this point, especially after we pumped during the New York Open. That's typically what happens. We take liquidity on whatever either side, and then we have a bigger dump for the low. But with Bitcoin, who fucking scams all the time, I don't know. It's complicated. So I think I'm just gonna let it run like this, and then again, if we get this trigger that I was talking about off of this, then I'll take another long, and I'll just go bigger size and smaller invalidation. But anyways, I have the short that keeps on printing even if I get cooked on this long. It's not an issue, as I have 1.6k of profit here. Anyways, let's see. But yeah, so basically BitGet, if you want to start taking it, I think it's good to start having it also because we trade on Blowfin, but Blowfin is non-KYC. So with non-KYC, you can't withdraw from your account to your bank. So what I would do is I would have both accounts, BitGet and Blowfin, and I have a code which will give you some VIP level on the app, so I can give you that too. I'm gonna put it in the Discord later. But basically from here we can actually withdraw to the bank account. So I would move between BitGet and Blowfin. And also the interesting thing that they added on BitGet, which I will be using much more, you can now trade stocks on crypto. So for example, we have Tesla, Coinbase, Robinhood, even MicroStrategy, Apple, Meta, Google, Nvidia. For example, if you guys know, I've had a big trade on Nvidia. I was long since there we are about to get stopped on Bitcoin. But yeah, I had a big trade on Nvidia from 93, and that was on my bank where I pay a lot of fees and shit. So I much rather trade it on here. So from now on, I'm going to be trading stocks on BitGet. It's just much easier. I can move money like very easily, and yeah, I rather do that. And then once again, I can move between Bybit, BitGet, and Bluefin. So this is the new exchange that I was talking about and was mentioning in the Discord, which I really like also for the what's it called? For the I don't get the words today. UI, user experience. Anyways, if we get this low and get that reaction, I'm going to open the trade directly on BitGet, just so that we can test this out. Let's see, Bitcoin. I think I have 3,000 here. Let's transfer them. Spot, there it is. All right, so let's just wait for that low and that daily to be tapped, and we can look for the long trade. We'll just do on market. And let's see, with 10x. Oh wow, we have 150. Okay, that's normal. I'm gonna go 30 leverage so that I can open 1 Bitcoin. Yeah. And we're going to have a stop loss, I'm guessing probably around, I don't know, I'm gonna keep it wide. I'm not opening now, by the way. I'm just checking the user experience here. Okay. Ah, no, I don't like this. Wait, why is it ROI percentage? I want price. There we go. Make sure your stop loss is based on price and not percentage, so that you can choose the price at which to get stopped out. And then here you can read, for example, you lose $500 if that's where you trade. Anyways, let's wait and see. I might as well come out of this long trade, to be honest, without waiting for the stop loss, because I really do think it's gonna get hit. So let me actually do that. Yeah. I don't know why it didn't take me out. Look at this. Price went below and it didn't stop me out. That's weird. Kind of a scam. Does this happen to other people too? Do you see what I mean? My stop loss is here and I'm still in this trade. Look at that. Anyways, better for me if I don't get stopped, to be honest. That's crazy. Also, let's see the order flow. So order flow. We have, of course, a lot of shorts opening. Anyways, okay, well, better for me if this didn't get closed. I'm going to start adding a little bit on here. Just very small. This is a very aggressive entry, by the way. Oh wow, I like that sound. I like that sound. Did you guys hear that? The ching. That was BitGet opening a position. So here it's an aggressive entry, and that's why I only went with 0.1, as you can see. We're losing $5. And I mean, we should wait. This was a blessing, who cares? It just didn't change much, but the fact that I didn't get stopped out is pretty crazy. And you guys saw this live, so that's pretty insane. And look at that. Of course, we go grab the liquidity and we pump. I'm actually, oh no, wait, this must be a glitch. Hold on, watch. I probably did get stopped out. Okay, I did. Well, guys, that fucked me. Okay. I just needed to refresh the page. See, that's annoying to get stopped out like this for $100. Anyways, I'm gonna add more here. We have a lot of shorts stuck. Yeah, I'm gonna add more. So we're gonna go, kind of want a little bit more of a retrace, but not necessarily that we will get it. Anyways, we are up a little bit, doesn't matter. But damn, at first I got excited about Bybit not stopping me out. I was like, awesome. But yeah, so let me show you the order flow. Order flow right here. As you can see on this drop, I'm gonna put it on 1 minute so that you can see it better. So we went to, and I'm gonna explain why this happens. So a lot of ignorant people, on the 1 minute doesn't show us properly. I'm gonna put 5. It was better. And this doesn't necessarily mean that this is gonna turn out to be a good trade, by the way. But yeah, so we go and take these lows right here, right? And when people, typically the person who doesn't know how to trade, at these lows, once they're taken, people go short because they're like, low is lost, Bitcoin is falling, blah, blah, blah. But these are the perfect places where you actually want to be where you want to be looking for longs, not shorts. And look, right here, this is showing new positions. And people at the low, they were shorting 3 million, 1.6 million, 1.7 million. So, I mean, obviously, this trade might turn out to be profitable for them because if price keeps dropping, these shorts are going to be in profit, which could be the case, to be honest. But that's not typically what you want to like go with. At these levels, you want to be looking for longs, not shorts. Let me switch back to my main. But yeah, anyways, sucks that I got stopped because I kind of expected it. But when you trade, you have to stick to your rules. So if I moved my stop loss or if I closed my trade earlier, I wouldn't have been truthful to my rules. So it is what it is. Yeah, daily level got front run. This makes me think we'll go for another run down lower. Perhaps we start ranging a little bit here and we can get that trigger that I was talking about, right? Where we front run the level and then we get the real move down, get some short stuck here on this range, something like this, then SFP on the level, come back above, and we take the trade there. But I'm happy to be exposed like this. It doesn't matter. It's only 0.5 Bitcoin, and I just don't want to see this low, to be honest. So I could already put my stop loss here for now, and that's gonna be 1K stop loss, which is not an issue for me. The important thing is that you always manage your risk. That's what matters. And yeah, so I'm gonna let this run. I'm gonna give it some space. I just don't want to see this low being taken because then we move into my area of interest, which I was saying before is much, I hate this tool, which is much lower. So we can look at 85 to 86 with perhaps the chance to bounce at, where's my other level? The 87.3. Yeah, it's a bigger area because that would be the bigger, let me just check. I think that would be the bigger Fibonacci level. No, that lines up here. Yeah, right here. Yeah, off of this high. Off of this low. So let's see. Anyways, I positioned myself in the long, took the loss here. But I'm long once again here. So let's see what happens. Also, we can take a look at some stocks. Okay, also, move obviously has been helped by the stock market falling. As you all know, when the stock market falls, 0.4% on the index, typically Bitcoin gets a hit as well. We could probably look for a bounce a bit lower around here if we keep testing this area. But yeah, if the market keeps falling, this trade is more likely not to play out, of course. And the funny thing is that lately, whenever the stock market does pump, Bitcoin doesn't move. But yeah, again, I'm gonna let this run. I'm gonna give it some room now. And if we reverse, for example, we start going back above 90,000, then I can move my stop loss below this low, which would give us such a tight invalidation, probably such a small loss. But yeah, let's see how this goes. I mean, the reaction is not bad. And once again, as I explained to you, let me move back to order flow. When you see all these shorts opening at the bottom, just don't follow all these people, because these are the typical people that don't know how to trade. Also, another thing you can look at, I'm gonna wait for it to load, is the trade count. I'm gonna give you a little another like golden nugget. This might take a little bit to load, so whilst it loads, we can keep monitoring here. But yeah, so here is when you start seeing these shorts getting squeezed. So probably once we start moving above, I don't know, 90,000, all these people that were short here, these 6 million, they're gonna start closing their position, because you gotta consider that they're in a loss, and that will help the price keep moving up. Obviously, for those people who scalp and don't want to like take too much risk, you can already put your stop loss below here and have such a tight invalidation. I mean, for example, if I put my stop loss right here, my loss would be like, where do I see this? Take profit. What would that be? 89.2. It would be like $200 instead of wherever I placed it now, which was, I don't know, about 1K, you know? Of course, the chances that we move down again and get stopped out is higher than, for example, keeping a wider invalidation. Versione light. So much better. This is better. This is what I wanted to see. Anyways, we're long on BitGet, the new platform that I will most likely be using for these long trades whenever I go live. And again, let's take a look at some stock market stuff, stock market picks. This really pisses me off, guys, though. I could have literally just moved my stop loss a little bit wider and I wouldn't have gone and stopped out of my other long trade where I took a 1K stop loss. But whatever, it's part of the game. Can't keep crying. Also, I am gonna take some profit on my short trade that I have here, because who knows, if this is reversal, especially because it's market open, I want to be taking a bit more profit. Okay, so now we have that 1K taken. We took 1K stop loss there, so technically we're up $700 because 1K realized here minus 1K realized on the other side, and then we're up 300 here. So we're still up 1K, and this is exactly, shit, my bad. I'm not showing anything. Let me put it here. All right, so simply I was saying how I had, I just took some profit right here on my short. So now I have 1K realized, I have 700 running. And then I took a 1K stop loss on that long trade that I had at first. So that's only 700 in profit, but we also are now 300 USDT in profit here. And by the way, this can be a scalp trade. If you want to take profit now, you are free to take profit now. And that would still be a nice trade for the day. Like I could literally just finish my day here. Who makes $300 in 20 minutes, you know? But yeah, so overall, we're up 1K either way. And so I was saying this is how you edge. You are short from the high. You start taking a long, for example, here. If you get stopped out of that long, doesn't matter. You still have the short making you money and protecting you. Anyways, as I was saying, let's take a look at stocks. If anyone has, by the way, altcoins that they want to look at or certain stocks, if not, I will just go on based on my watch list. Also, let's check TPO. But TPO should look good. It's only the first 30 minutes. Yeah, of course. Too early to look at it. Anyways, this is technically a small fake out. I like this. This could be the low. But again, if we do another move lower, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. It makes sense because we did front run this big area of support. But sometimes the levels are so strong that they get front run, you know, that's what happens. A lot of people want to be buying this. That's what happens. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna let this run on here. And once again, if you wanna use this platform, just wait for me to drop a link, because I do have VIP status, which makes you like much lower commissions, probably like 70% off in commissions. For example, instead of paying 30 euros to open this trade, I could have paid 10 euros, for example. And that adds up over time. I can guarantee you of that. Anyways, that was a really nice entry, to be honest. I should have gone 1 Bitcoin, which was my intention at first, but this works out too. Whatevs. Anyways, let's go back to here, look at some stocks, and perhaps we can even take our first trade on stocks. Damn. Nvidia with a big gap down. By the way, this was my long on Nvidia. Right here. I had this buy box. I bought it at 87, then I bought it again at like 95. I had an average entry of like 93. And I rode it all the way up to 212. And I actually sold 212. Like that was my sell order. I remember I sent, no, it was on the 4th of November. Okay, 202, 3. No, it was this day. I don't know. Anyways, I sold it greatly. And now for a new entry, I'm going to be looking right here. This is my next area of interest. Would be nice to tap this weekly. Would be nice to take this liquidity right here. This is gonna move up with time. Maybe towards January to February, we could slowly make our way down there, do something like this, and then perhaps go for a new all-time high. And then we can have a trade that looks something like this. Let's see. Yeah, something like that would be nice. If not, we need to look for lower. Let's see what we could have. Fortunately, we don't have any trades to take today. On Nvidia, that is. We can check some other stocks. Yeah, other level would be, so you know what, I'm gonna make it simple for you guys. So first level we look at is going to be this area right here. We can call this buy zone 1. Second area of interest is going to be this 141, buy zone 2. Let's see, what does this offer us? I would rather keep above 140, to be honest. I think if we lose 140, we are probably going towards 120. And I mean, that's just a great buying opportunity. This is going to be moving up as well. And again, like this is not going to take a week. This might take 2 months, for example. Like this could be in June. That would be like 6 months from here. This point of control, lining up with this, you know, we could see something like that. So let's do this as our buy zone 3. And this is not just buy and hold. You know, these can be like the triggers that I was explaining before. For example, hitting the level, ranging, getting that trigger, and then taking it long and putting the stop loss. If this fails, whatever, we try again at 140. If that fails, we try again at 120, etc., etc. These are just levels of interest. Of course, if you have a long-term plan to hold Nvidia for the next 10 years, then yeah, of course, you can buy here and you can hold, you can buy here, you can buy here, and you can double each time. For example, you buy 10K right here, then you buy 20K right here. Depends on your portfolio size, obviously. How's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin's doing nice. Then you buy 40K right here, and you keep doubling down. Eventually, at one point, you're talking about Nvidia. You know, you're not talking about Bitcoin or Ethereum, which can fall 80%. I mean, yeah, this could fall 80%, but Nvidia is backed up by like actual numbers. So even if we go down here, eventually this, in the long term, will probably most likely make a return even to a new all-time high, unless obviously the company starts doing complete shit. but considering Nvidia is basically the biggest company at the moment, and with the wave of AI and the chips that they're making, that seems to be unlikely. So any dip, I would buy this, to be honest. Next zone of interest is going to be 108 to 100. So once again, taking out the $100 psychological. As we said, this we have already. We can start getting rid of this. And if not, we have to look towards 76 and 48, but I really don't think those are realistic numbers at the moment. Yeah, Bitcoin is doing good. This is nice. Let's see if we can keep holding that. I'm gonna move this like this. Valore della posizione we can put here. Prezzo di entrata. Prezzo di ingresso, mark price. Ok, filtra. All right. Okay, so Nvidia is this. Let's see if we have some lower time frame trigger where we could trade it. I mean, this is really shit price action. I don't really see anything interesting. Again, you could have scalped this. But I would say that here you wanna look for lower. I mean, we're just holding up this anchor view up. This could have been a short. This could have been a short. Here we front run. Could have been another short. I would say wait for this weekly level 167. And if you can, for example, if this comes back up, takes this out, you can take a short trade here to target that weekly. But until this anchor view up is flipped, I would not even bother to look for higher. That's for sure. NEO, this is not on the platform to trade, but I am still looking for lower. Something like this. I might buy this. I had a really nice trade from 4 to 7. I got completely out at a little bit at 7, 720, all around this area. And then I completely sold my remaining position, which was very small, at around 6.2. And from there, we had a massive 20% downfall. You said when a level like the G of today is under a lot of pressure by buyers, it can go up without touching it. Yeah, exactly. So if too many people are waiting to buy that level, too much pressure comes before that level, and that's why we get front runs. But typically when you front run a level, you go back and retest it. Like you might have that initial pump, but then typically you go and take it out. I mean, you don't have to, but typically that's what happens. Anyway, so NEO, I'm gonna be maybe a buyer between this area, because we did have a nice, little sign of life right here. We're still holding higher lows, so this could be a nice reversal. Coinbase, let's see. Coinbase was another stock that I had given some really nice buy at 141, ran all the way up to 400. That was like 300% from my buy, no, 200%, so times 3. Tesla's just ranging. You could try to scalp this, but I wouldn't, because it's on an uptrend. But you do have a valid short trade right here. You could wait for this low to be put in for a small pump, and you can short, for example, the value area high like this, targeting for 416. Because this looks like it's going to be taken again. Could even go down here. But of course, with the stock market, since we're expecting higher prices, This are risky trades, of course. Bitcoin keeps pushing. We're about 400 euros of profit. Well, $400 of profit. Let's see if this can keep going. And I'm going to open order flow for you guys to show you. But basically, we had more shorts opening here, so that was good. You see this 3.6 million, more shorts up here. These are just people that are trying to short the rise. This is gonna help the price keep pushing. I do expect this to keep pushing. And see, now we're seeing short positions closing. 2.5 million right here on declining open interest. That means these short trades are suffering. They're starting to close their position. And that's why we're seeing this push. And so I'm glad I actually took some profit on my short as well, right here. And yeah, now we're a bit more exposed to the long side. And once again, it kind of sucks I had to take that little loss on my long, but again, whatever. Microsoft. This is at a nice area of buy. We could do a little swing long here. I kind of like this. I'm not gonna lie. I can already see it by eyes. Yeah, I kind of like this. I'm not gonna lie. We lost the anchor VWAP. We're trying to reclaim it. We had the retest. A little bit of a market structure. We just took the liquidity here. You know what? We can open our first trade. I'm gonna do something small. By the way, we're now up 500 on BitGet. I had deposited 3K here, and I think we are already at 3.5 assets. Yeah, 3.5. How do I go back to this? So let's get Microsoft out here. They even have 90% fees off on this. So let's see. I'm going to do a market. Leverage 20, because why not? Valore della posizione. Why is it not letting me buy? 20 Microsoft, okay. Let's put something like this. Take profit. Stop loss we said was gonna be 464. And by the way, this is gonna be a long-term play, so don't expect this to move like anytime soon. Again, we want to put prezzo 464, only $300. Open long. Let's see. I really love this sound that it makes. Ka-ching. All right, so let's see how this plays out in the next couple of days. And to be honest, we don't even need to put our stop loss here. We could even put it below this. So you know what I might do? Block screen. My bad, guys. My bad. I just bought some Microsoft. That's what I was doing. And yeah, it's crazy because you have 90% fees off. No, it's because I'm switching between two platforms. Like whenever I make the switch from here to here, it takes like a second and it's gray. And then if I forget for 2 minutes to switch from order flow to this, then you have that little screen. Anyways, I bought some Microsoft, and what I might do, a bit more risky, I'm gonna put the stop loss below here, and I'm gonna buy double if it lets me. Okay, not double. I need to put more margin here. I'm gonna put 25x. No, I can't even, whatever. I'll just buy some more. But it's so nice. The sound it makes is super nice. Anyways, that's going to be our trade on Microsoft. Right here. First target is going to be the top of this range. Again, I think it's a better risk to reward to put the stop loss maybe just around 470, 469. The loss is going to be, let's see, where can I check? Let me delete it. I'm gonna place it from here. Trading. It's gonna be 469, $280. That's nothing for stocks, at least for my portfolio. Bitcoin is now up $600, getting that nice push up to 950. I still can't believe I got cooked on that position for so little. That's annoying. Anyways, that's a nice move on Bitcoin. Anyways, Microsoft, yeah, just give yourself some space. This is not a big deal for stop loss, at least for me. Bitcoin, I think we can move the stop loss now. So we can put it below the low that we had. So right here, stop loss. And look, that's just $200 of a stop loss. So that was a really good entry. And I'm also gonna take a little bit off, about 30% off. Let's see if it fills me. Of course, whenever I put my limits, they never get executed. And that way we pretty much have a free trade, which is the best position that you can be in. Let's see if it makes the sound when it fills. Microsoft, we're gonna swing this. It's more of a long-term play. I mean, obviously looking for a new all-time high, but we are going to be taking profit, because also here, look at this. We never actually took the liquidity here. So we had this high, we had this second high. That's not a good structure for highs. And again, I'm not expecting like a huge move in these days. And again, best thing would be to keep the stop loss here, have the final target for a new all-time high. It would still be a 1 to 4. But if you want to risk less in terms of cash, but risk more in terms of getting stopped out, you can place your stop loss, for example, 469, which is where I placed it. And if we go to a new all-time high, we will still have a 1 to 6. And obviously we can let this run, for example, for 600 and have a higher risk to reward. I can't believe I missed my take profit. Oh well. Anyways. But yeah, so take profit is going to be for sure here. We can use this high as well. So I would say take profit 1 above this range. This anchor VWAP is going to come down as well. Take profit 2, point of control, this anchor VWAP from all-time high. And then we can let this run to here. Once we flip this, I would expect to move up to here. And again, here I like it because we are bouncing off of the Fibonacci level. We put on some better range, let's say. These lows look good. You had this once, twice, took all the liquidity that there was to take. So I would consider this finished. Nice pump. Technically change the market structure here. Retest. Even after the retest, we took liquidity once again. So here it's finished as well. So I think that's a good trade. And if it gets stopped out, it gets stopped out. It's part of trading. We can take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum. It's not very good that we came back under here. I wanted to see this hold. Would have been nice to do something like this. My bigger resistance still remains 3.7. This is where I'm going to be looking for a short. And for a long, we can take a look at I mean, yeah, I would say all this area right here, taking out 3000 once again into the fib level, point of control, anchor VWAP, all this area is good. So anywhere between 3030 to 2960. Anyways, if someone wants to look at an altcoin, you can drop it in the chat now. If not, I will be closing the live as it's been 1 hour. But yeah, anyways, I've been so unlucky with these take profits. It's crazy. Either my shit gets like stopped out for so little, or I get no take profit. It's because I've been trying to do like take profits with limits. To be honest, I should just do market. It's just better at this point. Oh, I do want to show you Solana as well. Solana. Let me delete this shit. Solana, we need definitely to hold above this 130 and definitely above this 124. Otherwise, it's not looking good for Solana. Let me just put this. Yeah, already this has been tapped once, twice. Yeah, I mean, we could lose here, tap it again, reverse, but I would rather see this hold, to be honest. Do you ever buy options? I do not trade options. My broker doesn't let me trade margin, but I can trade options. No, personally, I don't do it. I'm guessing you have a US broker. Options are so much bigger in the US. Not really a thing in Europe. I mean, unless you're like consulente finanziario, which I don't know how to say in English. I mean, I do know how to say it, just doesn't pop up to my head right now. Financial consultant. But typically, like a normal European guy wouldn't trade options, to be honest. But it's huge in the US, especially like on Robinhood and stuff. Let me just check order flow. Let me switch you guys as well. Order flow, we squeezed the late shorts. You can see right here, 6 million shorts that closed. Well, these are the longs that are opening technically, but in reality they're closing. Like it's longs leaving the market, which means that it's shorts closing. Now the longs are getting liquidated. Yeah, we could see another push up. Hopefully I can get my take profit and then be in a risk-free trade. So yeah, Solana, the problem is that if we see this level lost at 120, we're going back at below 100. This would be the next interesting point. So what you could do, to be honest, I think can be a nice trade. You can take a short, not here. I mean, you could take a short here, but it's more risky. But you can simply wait for this level to be lost. You can wait for the retest. And you could go for a short like this, targeting below 100. Because if this is lost, we're going to go for these lows right here, I think. There's not much left. I mean, not much left. There's nothing left. So I would definitely be careful on Solana. Anyways, gonna look at that light USDT and then I'm gonna close the live. Oh my god, I forgot once again to fucking switch. I'm sorry guys, again. Yeah, anyways, I was saying there's these lows. And if we can flip this level into resistance, I would take a trade such as this one. Because there's nothing left here for support. Belgium, you can sign up to BitGet to trade stocks, the one I just showed. So this platform, If you go in my Discord, I'm going to drop a link to get the VIP and to get the discounted rates. For example, Microsoft at 90% off. And for crypto, you can use Blowfin. There's no KYC, so you can just sign up. Anyways, let's look at Light, and then I will close the live. Light USDT .p. Oh wow. Big failed auction. This was the long trade to have right here. We can look at this as a range. Once you traded below here, once you're back above, this was your trigger to go along. If you were looking at this, this should have been the only trade to look at. I'm guessing there was also some other shit. Let's see. Nope. We have a monthly right here. Yeah. Weekly was hit first. Daily. But it was hit. Now we have a daily here. Yeah, this was definitely the long to have. This was a very simple trade. But now we need to look for something else. This is resistance right here. So this would be obviously your first take profit if you are long. Yep. Flip this anchor VWAP, which is not bad. If we reclaim here, you can expect, hold on. This price action is kind of trash, but yeah, I mean, if we consider this as the range, right? Range high, range low, which we just faked out. Obviously, our final target becomes this range high, unless this is the range high, but I would more consider something local. And you can look for a short here of this monthly. Look at this perfect. This was a very simple trade too. Right here, the drop, Fibonacci, point of control, boom, massive crash from there. That was the short. Now we can look for another short right here. If we SFP, what we can wait is for two things. Either another failed auction. So if this is range high, you wait for the price, for example, to go to this monthly, chill a little bit here. Once it's back below, that's where you take your short. Or a simple grab of liquidity. You trade this back down until the range breaks. But yeah, you're definitely at resistance here. I wouldn't short here just because we flipped this anchor VWAP. Maybe if we go back below the point of control, then yeah, you could short this like this. But still not a crazy risk to reward. So I would wait for this. And if we flip there, I would wait for another short here. But I think this is more likely to be the short. So yeah, I mean, you could also look for a retest long since there is this strength. So we can look at that. Let's see. Something more. Just nothing crazy. Can look for a retest at $1, like around this area, most likely, to try and take this higher. I would probably look at 0.382. If not, you can look for a retest at 77, but that's still pretty far. It's tough to say for a long. You're a bit late. Yeah, maybe at $1. Maybe this is, you could look. Again, you would have to wait for a lower time frame, like shift. Like if you get a range here, get the typical setup, then yeah, you could look for something like this to target that monthly, and you would have a 1 to 10. That could be good. I do like this, so I'm gonna set it just because it has a nice risk to reward. So technically you could even attempt a short here with very wide invalidation to take this back down to $1. Then if this doesn't work out, you're still in your short trade, which you can bring lower. If instead the long works out, you get out of your short, you let the long run for that monthly level, and then from there you look for another short. So we can see if this plays out. It's very speculative, of course, but this could be cool. And again, if not, another long could be down here. But since this has momentum, and even here, for example, you can see it doesn't do many retraces for now a week. Not a week, a bit less. Didn't even retrace to a 382. But yeah, could look at something like this if I really had to give some trades. I'm not gonna like trade these myself. Maybe I will trade this if we get some nice entry, even though it's not the best place to trade. But I mean, off the anchor VWAP, off of this strength, it could be a trade. Wow, look at that. Bitcoin reversing that whole move, bruh. What the fuck is this? And once again, I missed my fucking limit order. That's crazy. Another entry on Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, there's the retest. I don't know if I would take it. I'm personally not gonna take it. I mean, yeah, you're retesting here. You could, if you want to be aggressive. And once again, we hit the Fibonacci, and we're finding support there. Yeah, you could. Honestly, you could. You can put your stop loss here. But I have my lower entry, so I don't mind. Again, I would rather see this tapped, this daily level and stuff. But if this keeps going like this, I might just close my trade early and wait for lower. Couple shorts opening, nothing crazy. Lots of longs getting stopped out. Yeah, we'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna read the chat and then leave. I must say I really appreciate these live streams, man. I'm learning a lot. Nice to see someone doing it live without strings attached or fake trading to get views. Thank you. I'm on your Discord. I'll send you a private message. I already have ticket open. I'm the annoying guy who could not get out of Jeet because my trading didn't work. No worries. What's the point of doing analysis on alts if they are correlated to Bitcoin and end up doing what Bitcoin does? Because you can get better short trades on altcoins. So for example, if Bitcoin moves, like falls 2%, you got some altcoins falling 7%, right? So why would you try to get a 2% when you can get a 7%? And same things, like when Bitcoin moves up and it moves up through 2%, perhaps you have some altcoins moving up 10%. So that's why you get more volatility. Anyways, I'm gonna leave. I think I answered everything. And yeah, see you in the next live stream.